In 1984, some lunatic made a movie about a brain surgeon rock star fighting aliens with a jet car, and people still talk about it 40 years later. These sci-fi movies are more fun than anything Hollywood's made in the last 10 years. There's a movie from 1988 where Roddy Piper has to rescue women from a city run by mutant frog people. Nuclear war happened, most of humanity is now infertile. The few people who can still have kids have become incredibly valuable. Roddy Piper plays a scavenger named Sam Hell who's one of the fertile ones, and he gets sent on a mission to rescue a group of fertile women who've been captured by these anthropomorphic frog creatures. The people who send him on this mission don't trust him not to run away, so they strap an explosive chastity device to him. The whole movie, Roddy Piper is wearing a bomb on his crotch that'll detonate if he tries to escape. The filmmakers knew they needed someone with serious charisma to sell this. You can't make a movie about mutant frogs without a leading man who can commit to the insanity. So they got Roddy Piper, who had this natural presence from wrestling that just worked on screen. He's fighting frog people, he's wearing an explosive device, he's on a fertility rescue mission, and he plays every moment completely straight. The whole thing works because nobody's treating it like a joke. And yes, they made multiple sequels. Peter Weller plays Buckaroo Banzai, who is a brain surgeon, an adventurer, and a rock star, all three at once. He drives an experimental jet car through the 8th dimension during a test. An alien creature latches onto the vehicle, and now he has to stop an alien invasion. The cast is stacked. John Lithgow, Jeff Goldblum, Christopher Lloyd, all doing this completely bonkers material with total commitment. The movie never pauses to explain itself. It doesn't tell you why the main character is simultaneously a neurosurgeon and a rock star. It just keeps moving with total confidence in its own absurdity. It bombed completely at the box office, but then became a massive cult classic. Kevin Smith references it constantly. People quote it, "You either go along with the ride and have a great time, or you spend the whole thing confused. There's no middle ground here." In 1984, someone decided to make Star Wars, but with pirates. Water has become incredibly rare in this future. The people who have it are hoarding it, the people who don't are stealing it. Robert Urich plays Jason, an ice pirate who raids spaceships for their water. During one raid, he impulsively kidnaps a princess, and everything spirals from there. The movie's got pirate shenanigans, robot butlers, space battles. It's throwing everything at you at once. Somehow Angelica Houston and Ron Perlman are in this thing, both playing it completely straight, and they both went on to win Golden Globes later. If you ever wondered what Pirates of the Caribbean and Star Wars would look like as one movie, this is the answer. Chaotic, ridiculous, and entertaining if you're in the right mood for it. Flash Gordon is a football player who ends up fighting a space emperor to save Earth. That's the movie. And somehow they got Queen to do the entire soundtrack. The plot starts with meteors hitting the planet. Flash is on a plane that gets struck by a meteor. He crash lands it at some scientist's house. The scientist has been building a rocket in his backyard because he thinks aliens are attacking. He's right, so the three of them blast off to confront whoever's doing it. They end up on planet Mongo dealing with Emperor Ming, who's causing all these disasters on Earth for fun. He's bored and treats planets like toys. Flash has to unite different kingdoms on Mongo to fight back, and he does it by just being relentlessly optimistic and heroic despite having no idea what he's doing. Critics actually liked it when it came out. They got that it was supposed to be campy and fun, not serious sci-fi. The movie knows what it is and doesn't apologize for it. Flash doesn't have special training, he's just a quarterback who keeps charging forward, and in this universe, that works perfectly. Tobe Hooper made the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He made Poltergeist. Then in 1985, he decided to make a movie where space vampires attack London and turn everyone into zombies. A shuttle crew finds them in an alien ship while investigating Halley's Comet and brings them back to Earth. Bad call. These things drain people's life energy. Everyone they drain becomes another energy-sucking zombie, and London turns into an apocalyptic nightmare. Patrick Stewart is in this before he did Star Trek, and he gets possessed by one of the vampires halfway through. Critics couldn't agree if Lifeforce was a disaster or wildly entertaining, but they all agreed it was bonkers. Hooper could have made this more conventional, more grounded. Instead, he went harder on every strange idea. The result is a movie that asks you to take space vampires seriously as an existential threat, and you either go along with that or you don't. Night of the Comet takes about 5 minutes to set everything up and then just runs with it. A comet passes Earth overnight. Everyone who wasn't in a steel structure turns into dust or zombies. Two Valley Girl sisters wake up alone in Los Angeles. The sisters spend the movie navigating this new reality. They're scared when they need to be, pragmatic when they have to be, and they still bicker like actual sisters even though the world just ended. Director Tom Eberhardt wrote it as sci-fi horror comedy, and somehow all three elements work together. The smart thing about Night of the Comet is it doesn't explain anything. Why did the comet do this? Why did steel help? The movie doesn't know and doesn't care. Eberhardt just wanted to drop Valley Girls into the apocalypse and see what happened. Steven Leesberger made Tron in 1982. Groundbreaking computer graphics became this huge cultural thing, defined what sci-fi could look like. 7 years later, he made another sci-fi movie called Slipstream. The world has ended, but not from nukes or disease or any of the usual apocalypse stuff. It's wind. There's this massive wind current called the Slipstream that basically controls everything, and the remaining humans worship it as a god. People have built their entire society around praying to wind. There's a plot involving people chasing a prisoner for a bounty, but honestly, that's not what's interesting here. What's interesting is that Lisberger somehow convinced Ben Kingsley and F. Murray Abraham, both Oscar winners, to appear in his movie about wind worship. Mark Hamill's in the lead, Bill Paxton's there doing his thing, and you've got these two Oscar winners showing up in a post-apocalyptic film where people treat air currents like deities. Nobody really remembers Slipstream. It's not Tron, it didn't change anything, most people have never heard of it, but there's something kind of great about the audacity of the concept. Some alien creatures escape from an asteroid prison and end up in a Kansas town terrorizing the Brown family. Two shape-shifting bounty hunters show up to capture them. It's a horror movie on paper, violent alien creatures attacking people in a small town. Except those aliens are puppets. 80s puppet effects with these huge, sharp-toothed grins. The filmmakers clearly wanted them to be scary, wanted them to be these menacing creatures that would terrify audiences. And they are kind of creepy, but they're also obviously fake rubber puppets, and that combination turns the whole thing into comedy. Disney made a movie about a kid getting abducted by aliens, which is already a weird choice for them, but the way they handled it is even stranger. 12-year-old David goes for a walk in the woods and comes back 8 years later. He hasn't aged. Everyone he knows is 8 years older, his little brother is suddenly older than him, and David's still 12 trying to process that he lost 8 years of his life to a UFO. That's a horror premise. Kid gets taken by aliens, time works differently, comes back to find his entire life has moved on without him. That could be traumatic, existentially terrifying. Disney took that concept and made it heartwarming. They looked at alien abduction and time displacement and decided to turn it into a family-friendly adventure with corny special effects and a feel-good story. It's like they watched Close Encounters and thought we can make this appropriate for children. The movie uses time travel more carefully than a lot of other sci-fi films from the 80s. There's actual thought put into how it works and what it means. But it's still Disney, so everything works out fine and everyone learns something about themselves. Alex Rogan is a teenager who lives in a trailer park and spends all his time playing this arcade game called Starfighter. One night he finally beats the high score. The next day an alien shows up in a convertible and tells him the game was actually a recruiting test for an intergalactic military. And now Alex has to come fight in a real space war. So Alex gets taken to a space station where he meets all these different alien species, and they tell him he's been drafted into their fighter squadron to help stop an invasion. There's this whole fleet of enemy ships about to attack, and Alex is supposed to pilot a gunship to help defend against them. Problem is, Alex is just a kid from a trailer park who's good at video games. He's not actually trained for combat.